one of the rising stars of New Zealand cricket, Daryl Mitchell justified his star billing yet again. Fresh from a century less than 48 hours ago, the batter from Hamilton showed no signs of stopping. He marched on to his second successive 100 to set New Zealand on course for a big total. Daryl Mitchell once again scoring his third ODI 100. After a poor outing in the first game, Tom Latham found his touch. The visitors would go on to set a challenging target of 337. It was a night to remember for Fakhar Zaman as his blazing billow held the centre stage in the Pindi Stadium.
There it is, massive, and it's gone high into the night sky.
He was helped on the way by a couple of catch drops. Unfazed, the left-hander went on to complete his third successive ODI 100.
Absolutely superb from Fakhar Zaman. His 10th century in one-day internationals.
Also riding on half-centuries by Babar Azam and later by Mohammad Rizwan, the hosts were home completing their second highest run chase in ODIs. As the cricket cavalcade moves to Karachi, can Pakistan seal the series tonight or New Zealand make a comeback to keep it alive?
Welcome to the City of Lights. It's always great to be here in Karachi at the National Bank Stadium. And we are here for the third one-day international, moved over from Pindi to Karachi now. And it is great to be here for the Dafa News presents KFC Pakistan versus New Zealand ODI series. Hello and welcome to the Inverex Solar Energy Pitch Side Show. Now, different venue altogether. We're here in Karachi, moved over from Pindi, had a fantastic leg here, but Pakistan are leading the series and this is a chance for them to seal the series. New Zealand would be looking to redeem themselves and obviously make a comeback in the series. So plenty to play for. I've been joined by Arooj Mumtaz and Grant Elliott. Arooj, are you sounding like Arooj today? I think we need to make her voice debut first today.
Right. Well, yeah, that's what I'm going to sound like for the rest of the day. So if there's any confusion, it's still me. And yeah, so keep the questions short and the to one-word answers. How about we play it like that this afternoon?
Okay, I'll be very direct in that case. Do you think Iftikhar Ahmed is going to get a chance today?
Yes.
Or he should get a chance?
Yes.
He should get a chance.
Yes.
Why?
I think, again, the fact that he is a proper off-spinner, the fact that he can stabilize the innings as well as score the big runs at a quick rate when required. Off late, even in the domestic circuit, he's known to finish off games. And I think Pakistan is struggling when it comes, when push comes to shoves, under pressure situations, we seem to buckle under it at that particular spot. Whether it's 4, 5 or 6, where Rizwan fits in now, because he sort of also made a claim a few days ago whether you'd like to bat at 4, but he bats at 5. How they fit him in, but I really feel come the big stage, and with 3 games just left to go, Iftikhar for surely deserves a spot in that 5.
She's still making a lot of sense, so that's at least the good side of things. Your teeth are looking great. Well done, Grant. Well done, Arooj, for all the dental work that you've done. But let's talk about New Zealand. You know, New Zealand, they've got a debutant today playing in the ODIs. I'm talking about in this particular format. McConkey comes in. He gets an opportunity. How do you think New Zealand can make a comeback today?
Yeah, I think it is. It's very exciting. I mean, you're talking about from a Pakistan perspective, you're talking about the players that are going to potentially be coming in, and everyone's trying combinations. We're leading up to the World Cup, so there's a lot of opportunity for the New Zealand team. And the reason why there's a lot of opportunity, there's a lot of the top players are out, but that's great for New Zealand. They can create a pool of players that are going to have experience that can actually then go into, you know, the World Cup stages and actually play for a place. They want to be playing for a place, and we've seen some excellent performances. One of the best things we've seen is Kane Williamson out with an injury, but we've seen Daryl Mitchell slide into number 3 and do a great job. So you can almost give a big tick there and you go, right, well, we found our number 3.
Well, one thing that's been the highlight of this series, it has actually been Fakhar Zaman's performance. You know, 2 back-to-back hundreds in this series, 3 consecutive hundreds overall. He's literally been at the peak of his ODI career at least, and he is standing tall, and those number 2 rankings that we talk about in the ODI format. Sikandar Bakht earlier caught up with him.
Star Talk Brought to you by Inverex Solar Energy.
आज इस शाम में जहाँ मैं बैठा हुआ हूँ, ये मशहूर स्टेडियम जहाँ ने बहुत सारी परफॉर्मेंसेस हमने देखी हैं पाकिस्तान के बॉलर्स और बैटर्स की तरफ से, हमने सोचा क्यों ना हम आपकी मुलाकात करवाएं एक बार फिर एक ऐसे बैटर से जो ख़ास तौर पे आज उनके जो बल्ला है वो रन्स उगल रहा है। फ़खर ज़मान को हम वैसे एज अ बैट्समैन तो हम जानते ही हैं, देखते रहते हैं उनकी परफॉर्मेंसेस, लेकिन थोड़ा एज ए पर्सन, एज अ फादर, एज अ सन, एज अ टीम मेट वो कैसे हैं वो बात भी होगी। 2 सेंचुरीज़ बैक टू बैक, ओवरऑल कंसेक्यूटिव 3 सेंचुरीज़ हुई हैं। इस सीरीज़ में ग्राउंड वाइज ही बड़ा चेंजेस लाने पड़ते होंगे, पिंडी में अलग किस्म का पिच है, यहाँ पे अलग है। इन 200 को कहाँ रेट करते हैं अपने करियर में?
देखिए, आप पाकिस्तान के लिए रन्स करते हैं तो आपको अच्छा तो फील होता ही है, और फिर न्यूजीलैंड मेरे ख्याल में वनडे में नंबर 1 है, नंबर 1 टीम है, तो बहुत अच्छा रेट करता हूँ। क्योंकि यहाँ पे अगर आप देखें तो पिछले कुछ अरसे से मेरे इतने ज़्यादा रन्स नहीं हो रहे थे, और मैंने काम किया। तो जब आप मेहनत करते हैं किसी भी फील्ड में और आपको उसका सिला मिलता है तो आपको खुशी ज़्यादा होती है। तो मुझे जो मैंने मेहनत की है अपने गेम पे और जो मुझे रिज़ल्ट मिल रहा है तो उस पर मुझे बहुत खुशी है।
50 ओवर का वर्ल्ड कप आ रहा है, ज़्यादा दूर नहीं है साल के आखिर में। इंडिया में कह सकते हैं कि कंडीशंस थोड़ी बहुत सेम ही होंगी पाकिस्तान जैसी। उसकी प्रेपरेशन के लिहाज से अपने आप को कैसा देख रहे हैं? हम तो नज़र आ रहा है कि ऑब्वियसली 100 बैक टू बैक आ रहे हैं, लेकिन उसके लिए कुछ खास मेंटल प्रेपरेशन और डिफरेंट चीज़ें करते हैं वर्ल्ड इवेंट के लिए?
देखिए सिकंदर भाई, मेरे ख्याल में हम लोग थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा वर्ल्ड कप को या दिमाग पे ले लेते हैं या दिल पे ले लेते हैं। मुझे नहीं लगता कि इसमें टीम में कोई ऐसा एक भी बंदा होगा जो वर्ल्ड कप का सोच रहा होगा, सिवाय कप्तान या मैनेजमेंट के। सारे जो प्लेयर्स होते हैं उनका सारा फोकस अगले मैच पे होता है। तो मेरा भी यही है कि मैं मतलब अब जैसे हमारा नेक्स्ट मैच है, मेरा सारा फोकस उसी पे है, और वर्ल्ड कप काफ़ी दूर की बात है, तो उसके लिए बिल्कुल ये अच्छी तैयारी है। आप अगर आप परफॉर्म करते हो तो आपके लिए अच्छा होता है, लेकिन जब वर्ल्ड कप आएगा तो मेरे हाल में एज अ प्रोफेशनल जो है ना, हम लोगों को जितना मैं इस मैच के लिए हमने तैयारी की है सेम हम मतलब इसमें कोई चेंज नहीं आता। या ख्वाह वो वर्ल्ड कप का मैच हो या किसी भी किसी सेकंड डिवीजन टीम के साथ मैच हो, तो तैयारी सबके लिए तकरीबन एक तरह की होती है।
मैंने ये सवाल इसलिए पूछा था कि पाकिस्तान के पास अभी ऑफिशियली कोई वनडे नहीं है इसके बाद वर्ल्ड कप तक, तो एक अच्छी एक इनर फीलिंग होती है कि मैं पीछे ये 200 करके आ रहा हूँ सीरीज़ में, तो वो एक थोड़ा सा आपको हेल्प करेगा कि बैक ऑफ दैट वहाँ से डायरेक्ट।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, ये तो यही मैंने बताया ना, जब आप परफॉर्म करते हो तो आपको हेल्प करता है। एज अ टीम भी आपकी एक टीम की कम्बिनेशन बनती है, लेकिन जो तैयारी है वो हम लोग हर ख्वाह वो बायलैटरल सीरीज़ हो या किसी से एक मैच हो या कोई बड़ा टूर्नामेंट हो, तो तैयारी हमारी हर चीज़ के लिए सेम ही होती है।
अच्छा, इसी तरह अगर मैं किसी बैट्समैन की बात करूँ, आप फील्डिंग कर रहे हैं और आप देख रहे हैं उस बैटर को, क्या कहते हैं यार इसको आउट करना मुश्किल है, कौन सा ऐसा है जो आपको इम्प्रेस करता है बैटर जो आज खेल रहा हो या पहले खेला हो?
मेरे नहीं, जो रिटायर्ड है या
आज की तारीख में जो खेल रहा है,
उसका जवाब तो आपको आइडिया होगा, लेकिन
चले ओवरऑल आपसे पूछ लेते हैं, किसी को देख के आप कहते हैं कि यार ये सुन बात है या ठीक?
देखिए मेरे तो ऑल टाइम फेवरेट AB डिविलियर्स ही है, और मैं अभी भी उनकी वीडियोस देखता रहता हूँ। लेकिन अगर आज के दौर में आप देख लें तो मैं नहीं समझता कि कोई बाबर आजम के करीब भी कोई बैट्समैन होगा, क्योंकि अक्सर नॉन स्ट्राइक एंड पे मैं खड़े होकर उनकी जब शॉट्स देखता हूँ तो हमें मतलब ऐसा लगता है कि यार मैं लकी हूँ कि मतलब मैं इस बंदे के बराबर में खेल रहा हूँ। क्योंकि अब ये नहीं बात कि लोग अगर कोई बोले कि यार वो कप्तान है तो कोई तारीफ़ कर रहा है या क्या, लेकिन हम लोग जब बैठे होते हैं और वो बैटिंग भी कर रहा हो नेट में, काफ़ी मुश्किल विकेट्स होती है, तो वहाँ पे भी जब वो कोई शॉट्स मारता है तो
खेला कैसे ये वाला शॉट,
हम लोग यही कहते हैं कि यार, और बॉलर्स के साथ भी डिस्कस करते हैं कि यार आप हमें बाबर आजम की ना कोई खामी बता दें कि कहाँ पे वो फ्लिक वो मारता है, फुल कवर ड्राइव कट वो मारता है। तो वो ऐसा प्लेयर है कि जो मेरे ख्याल में मैं उसको सबसे हाई रेट करता हूँ।
पाकिस्तान में ही सब कॉन्टिनेंट में लोग इतना पसंद करते हैं क्रिकेट को कि नहीं परफॉर्म हो तो नाराज़ हो जाते हैं, परफॉर्म करो तो सर पर बिठा लेते हैं। लेकिन आप सबको तो नहीं मना सकते, जानते भी नहीं, लेकिन फैमिली को मनाना बड़ा मुश्किल होता है। मैंने सुना है कि आपकी वालदा ऑफ कोर्स आपका बड़ा परफॉर्मेंस देखती हैं, बेटा आपका क्रिटिक है बहुत बड़ा, तो ये लास्ट 2 नॉक्स देख के तो बहुत खुश हुए होंगे, लेकिन उनको मनाने में टाइम लग जाता होगा।
अभी आपको एक स्टोरी बताऊँ, दूसरे T20 में मेरा इनसाइड एज हुआ तो मैं 0 पे आउट हुआ, तो काफ़ी लड़कों ने भी मेरे बेटे को बोला कि तुम्हारे बाबा तो 0 पे आउट हो गए ना। तो अभी जब लास्ट मैच में मैंने 180 किया, तो अब मुझे ये नहीं पता था कि मैं जैसे ही हम लोग होटल गए तो जैन साहब ऊपर से नीचे आए, लेफ्ट के पास खड़े हुए। आपको पता है प्लेयर्स को क्या बोले? कहते हैं हाँ तुमने कितने बनाए? मतलब कि मेरे पापा ने तो इतने बनाए, अब बताओ आपने कितने बनाए। तो बिल्कुल होता है। और बेटे के साथ तो उनकी अभी इतनी एज भी नहीं है, 6 साल का है, पर यह है कि अम्मी से काफ़ी ज़्यादा कोचिंग सीखने को मिलती है।
चलिए गुड। फ़खर बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया, आपने अपना टाइम दिया।
थैंक यू।
आपकी शानदार परफॉर्मेंसेस देख के सिर्फ हम ही नहीं, हमारे जितने भी व्यूअर्स अराउंड द वर्ल्ड जो क्रिकेट को पसंद करते हैं वो एंजॉय करते हैं, और हमारी ये दुआ है कि इसी तरह से आप शाइन करें। थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर जॉइनिंग अस। फ़खर ज़मान से बातचीत हुई, अच्छा लगा, और उम्मीद करते हैं कि आप लोगों ने भी फ़खर को थोड़ा सा बिसाइड्स बीइंग अ ग्रेट बैट्समैन वैसे जाना होगा कि पर्सनली वो खुद एज ए ह्यूमन बीइंग, एज एन इंडिविजुअल कैसे हैं। अपना ख्याल रखिए एंड थैंक्स फॉर जॉइनिंग अस।
Star Talk, brought to you by Inverex Solar Energy.
What a fabulous chat by Sikandar Bakht with Fakhar Zaman. You can see the full interview on all the PCB channels. Very shortly it will be uploaded. Grant, you've played with Fakhar Zaman for Lahore Qalandars. You know him pretty well. When you see his career evolving, what's the one thing that you've picked up that has improved?
Oh, I think, you know, the first time I saw Fakhar Zaman, I think his poise at the crease, you know, he was always a very attacking player, but it's more about his poise and the way that he, you know, creates an innings and the timing of it all. There's acceleration within the innings. It's not just crash bash from the start and he keeps going. I think he chooses his moments. And we've seen now, like, for you to be able to bat a long period of time in one-day cricket, you need to be able to bat for a long period of time, and it's not about just attacking, but it's about your defence as well, and choosing that bowler. It's you know, suddenly we'll see a big over where Fakhar will take someone for 15 plus and it accelerates the innings and he gets ahead of the game. But it's a position that is crucial if you want to be a world's best team. You need someone who's going to be attacking.
Talking about his position, he's also improved his position in the ICC men's ODI rankings. He's now on that #2 spot, right behind Babar Azam. And you know, we talk about personal milestones. This is definitely one of them, to be the #2 batter in the world in ODI cricket. He's also got another record that we saw in the previous game. We talk about fewest innings to 3,000 runs, and Fakhar Zaman has taken 67, which is equivalent with Shea Hope. And good on him to be making all these records, and good on him to be improving his performance as a player. I think we spoke about how he's improved over the short ball as well. That was something that you know, was pointed out in the last one-day international, Aruj. Let's talk about Pakistan team. We're only a few minutes away from the toss. Different conditions altogether. Your home ground. This is where you played. How does the surface normally play here?
I mean, it's still going to be runs. Probably just shy under 300, maybe the 280. Let's not forget when New Zealand was here earlier in January, they won 2-1. They had a full strength side, but the scores were an average of 265, 275. So that is something. So, but the Karachi surface normally still has runs, but it does have an assistant with the spinners. That's something that we didn't see in Pindi, in particular from New Zealand. So maybe that's something that we look forward to.
And Grant, when you, obviously it's a different venue that we're talking about. Pindi was pretty obvious, win the toss, bowl first. What do you reckon Karachi should be like if you win the toss?
Well, the reason why I've got these glasses on is not because of the shine of my new teeth from my aesthetic dentist here, but it's because of the sun. It's pretty hot out there. I think that
I didn't ask for an explanation there. But I like how you went about explaining your look. It's a conscious man at the end of the day.
I think that, listen, the weather will come into it here. There's going to be some roasted kiwis, but will there be some dew? The dew factor, once again, you think about that, you go, maybe you have a bowl.
All right, in that case, let's see what happens, because we are actually ready with the toss. It's over to Sikandar Bakht, who's out there with the two captains.
Toss and pitch report brought to you by Inverex Solar Energy. Thank you, Zainab, and it's the final leg of this tour. We are in Karachi, it's warm, but the good part is there's a fair bit of breeze blowing across. We've got our match referee next to me, Mr. Chris Broad, and then we have Babar Azam, the home captain, Tom Latham, leading New Zealand. Babar has the coin.
Heads.
Heads is the call.
It is a head.
Beautiful.
And it is heads.
Good luck.
First hurdle cross. Toss comes your way, so
What are you going to do?
We're going to have a bowl first. Yeah, it looks another good surface, probably similar to the last couple of games. But yeah, I think we've seen chasing might be slightly easier. So fingers crossed we can do a good job with the ball first up.
Compared to Lahore and Pindi, you have a fairly good idea of this place because you've played here start of the year. What do you make of this surface and no pressure of very high scores on this ground?
Yeah, I think it's obviously a slightly different time of year than when we were here a few months ago. But again, it looks a decent surface. So you know, regardless whether you're batting or bowling first, it's trying to do that well. And I guess from our point of view, first up, it's trying to adapt to this slightly new surface. So fingers crossed we can do that early on.
What are the changes that have you brought in the team?
So Tom Blundell, Cole McConkey comes in and makes his debut, and Adam Milne is back.
Well, good luck.
Cheers, thank you.
Good luck. Babar, first time you will have to bat first. Happy with that, but of course chasing has more records here.
To be honest, yes, we have a bat first, but yes, we will try to run on the board and put pressure on them, and I think the pitch look like dry and a little bit warm weather, so I think 290, 280 is defendable.
पिछले जो बार सीरीज हुई थी then in January 280, 270 was enough. You feel that that is a score for Karachi?
I think yes, 280, 290 is defendable, yes, but later on maybe help the spinners because of Dew when he's down and a little bit spin in the lights.
What are the changes from Pindi in the 11?
We have 3 changes. Shadab playing, Shaheen back, and then Naseem Jr. is playing. Haris is rest because of workload management, and Sanullah is not playing, and Samamir is not playing.
Good luck to you.
Yes.
So we know now that Tom Latham has won the toss, and he has decided that they are going to, well, of course, decide to what? Bowl first.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean, the weather here, much hotter, much steamier, of course, than it was in Islamabad, and so the conditions will be uncomfortable for the team fielding first. But I suppose the calculation is that this pitch here will be a little bit stickier, hold the ball a little bit more, perhaps now, than it will do later under the lights. A couple of areas that interest me here, Sikandar, and that is this sort of bald patch, something that I'm very familiar with, the bald patch here, where there are 1 or 2 cracks. I mean, they're pretty solid. They don't move around too much, and therefore there might just be that little bit of unevenness in the surface. However, there isn't really a lot to report about the surface. I don't think it's going to turn a great deal. It might be low, but it might be a little bit of unevenness, but it should be a good surface. The thing for me is the fact that we have this beautiful breeze coming across the ground here. It's coming from the long side, sort of in the southwest corner, towards the short side. So the bowlers are going to be wanting to try and get the batters to hit it into that long side, about 82 yards into that boundary over there, so that it gets held up in the wind. Batters are going to be looking into this corner thinking, well, that's just Christmas time. We're going to keep belting it out of the park. So pitch-wise, I don't know, 280, 290 might be sort of top whack we're looking at, but it should be a really good surface for what should be a good contest, whether you bat first or bat second.
But you don't feel that Toss has had a good say in the series, and then over here, Tom Latham would feel that, yeah, 1 hurdle crossed?
Well, yeah, I think so. I mean, I think it would be nice for them to get the chance to chase out here. Give Daryl Mitchell perhaps the chance to affect the game in the second half. However, I don't think that it's going to have a massive impact. It's not quite the same as Islamabad, where the numbers kind of tell you that chasing is the way to go. Here it's about, what, 3 out of 5 that the chasing team wins. And it'll pretty much depend, I think, on who plays best. I don't think the toss itself or the surface is going to have a massive shout in what happens today.
So you feel that Pakistan gets 280, 290, they're in the safe zone?
I don't know about safe, but I think that's probably par. And they may find themselves in a position, because of the fact that they've got batters who are in terrific form, whether they can push harder than that. And that is always the calculation in one-day international cricket. Do you sort of take 1 or 2 risks, lose 1 or 2 more wickets in order to try and push your scoring rate on, or do you settle for par and then hope that your bowlers can do the business? And that is always the calculation, particularly for Pakistan teams when they're out there batting first.
Great. You heard Butch, and right here, it's New Zealand who will be chasing. Let's see how Fakhar Zaman goes. Toss and pitch report brought to you by Inverex Solar Energy.
Well, that is the news from the centre that New Zealand has won the toss and they have elected to field first. There have been 3 changes from both the sides, but I'd like to thank Grant Elliott here, who's going to go back into the commentary box. Thanks a lot for your thoughts. Arooj, you're going to stay here. Unfortunately, you'll have to stay here, but we'll take a short breather. And when we do come back on the other side, we'll be having a look at all those changes. Back on the Inverex Solar Energy pit side show, and you heard it that New Zealand has won the toss and they are bowling first here in Karachi. I've been joined by Mark Butcher, who's just come from the pitch report, and he can tell you how hot it is today. Pretty hot conditions, Butch. You're melting in here.
I don't know what you're talking about. This is absolutely normal, like the northeast on a beautiful spring afternoon. No, it's absolutely steaming.
A bit like Newcastle.
Yeah, almost exactly. Almost exactly. Pitch looks good though.
All right, all right. Couple of changes for New Zealand and Pakistan as well. Arooj, let's start with the Pakistan team. There have been 3 changes from the Pakistan side. Shadab Khan comes back. Shaheen Shah Afridi is also out of the team. Well, he's playing today, but Wasim is in. Wasim is in, and then you've got Naseem Shah, Mohammad Wasim Jr. So no Iftikhar. That is the glaring one.
Well, I'm not the one for predictions or betting money anywhere. Get them wrong all the time. Nobody listens to me. But in all honesty, what Babar has been saying in this series in particular is that they've been applying the rotation policy and they've been managing workload, and that's why they're sort of having a rotation in terms of, so Sam Amir goes out, Shadab comes in, the 2, Ehsanullah and Haris Rauf go out, and Shaheen and Wasim Jr. come in. It could also be a case of just, again, letting everyone have a go while still keeping their formation of the 11 good enough to win the match. But I still maintain my case, Iftikhar should have gotten a game.
All right, Iftikhar should have gotten a game. From a New Zealand perspective, McConkey gets an opportunity. Tom Blundell also comes in. They've obviously shifted a few things around because this is a do-or-die situation for them. They've got to win this one.
Certainly is. But again, I think New Zealand are in a similar position to Pakistan, that although the results have not gone their way, that have been relatively pleased about how the batting has gone, putting totals on the board. They are a little bit underpowered. McConkey gets the chance to make a debut, which is wonderful for him. And Tom Blundell, I think, is a terrific cricketer. He's a fabulous cricketer. And therefore, he'll be delighted to get the chance to come out here and show what he can do. I had a little chat with him out there. Actually, we were talking about some technical things. He played beautifully in England against the moving Duke ball last time. I don't think he's going to have to worry about the moving ball too much here when he gets his chance to bat. But again, it just shows that they have all these cricketers, such a tiny nation, such a small pool of players to pick from, and you can bring somebody as good as Tom Blundell into your 11 as well as give somebody a debut. It tells you that you're going in the right direction.
Yeah, you've got to give it to them, considering the fact that their main full-strength side is not playing. They've had players who've stepped up and risen to the occasion. Daryl Mitchell, for one, has done really well for the New Zealand side as well. But let's hear from the fans now what they have to say. It's time for Gupshup with Mehak.
मेरे बहुत अच्छे तासुरात हैं. मैं बस जोश और जल्दे से मैं मैच देखने आया हूँ. पाकिस्तान की टीम हमारी आ गई है इधर कराची में, और अभी हमें बड़ी उम्मीद है कि पाकिस्तान बहुत अच्छे तरीके से खेलेगा. 2 मैचेस जीत चुका है, इंशाल्लाह आज भी जीत के हम इंशाल्लाह सीरीज़ अपने नाम कर लेंगे.
इफ्तिखार जो पहले T20 मैच में थे, अभी मतलब उनको ODI में दोबारा डाले, उन्होंने बहुत अच्छा परफॉर्म किया था. उम्मीद है इस बार भी वो बहुत अच्छा परफॉर्म करेंगे, और हम तो उनके छक्के वक्के देखने आए हैं.
जी, मेरा बेहतरीन प्लेयर है जो वो बाबर आजम है. मैं बाबर आजम को बहुत लाइक करता हूँ और पसंद करता हूँ. मैं अल्लाह से दुआ करता हूँ कि आज वो सेंचुरी बनाए और कौम के लिए वो आज़ाद हासिल करे.
फ़खर जमान के तो बस लाजवाब वो बंदा है हमारा. मतलब लाइक वो 2 सेंचुरियाँ मार चुका है आराम से, और इंशाल्लाह आज भी वो सेंचुरी करेगा पाकिस्तान में और कराची में मारेगा, और कराची की मतलब पूरी कौम को, मतलब पूरी क्राउड को वो बहुत अच्छा मैच देगा.
एज अ फ़ैन व्यूअर मैं यहाँ पे पाकिस्तान को सपोर्ट करने आई हूँ, और यहाँ के बैट्समैन भी बहुत अच्छे हैं, बॉलर्स भी बहुत अच्छे हैं. तो मैं चाहती हूँ कि पाकिस्तान जीते और आज का मैच जीत के ODI सीरीज़ अपने नाम कर लें.
आप देखेंगे कि न्यूजीलैंड वाले भी आसानी से आज का मैच पाकिस्तान की टीम के हवाले नहीं होने देंगे, और बिल्कुल टफ टाइम मिलेगा. और जाहिर सी बात है वो आउट ऑफ कंट्री खेल रहे हैं, एक अलग होम ग्राउंड में खेल रहे हैं, तो उनके लिए भी एक सवालिया निशान है जीतना, और वो अपनी फतह को मुकम्मल करने में यकीनी कोशिश करेंगे. लेकिन मुझे अपनी टीम के साथ उम्मीद है, पाकिस्तान के साथ इंशाल्लाह पाकिस्तान भरपूर मुकाबला करेगा और फतह अपनी यकीनी बनाएगा.
आई एम प्रीटी एक्साइटेड टुडे. मैं काफ़ी दूर से आई हूँ आज मैच देखने के लिए. पाकिस्तान ने ऑलरेडी 2 मैचेस जीत चुके हैं. आई एम प्रीटी श्योर आज भी तीसरा मैच जीतेगा और आज हम सीरीज़ अपने नाम करेंगे. पाकिस्तान जिंदाबाद.
The fans are always excited, and they've been so good in Pindi. I'm hoping that Karachi is the same, if not better. Butch, let's talk about what's impressed you about the Pakistan side. I mean, I want to touch upon Babar Azam's captaincy as well. Often we talk about his batting and how he's evolved as a batter. What do you make of his captaincy so far? Do you see any improvement, or where's it going?
Where's it going? Well, I think he is becoming more and more confident within himself. I think as a leader, the most important thing, nobody knows everything about the game. Nobody makes all the right calls. You know, somebody like Ben Stokes perhaps might just come in and make a difference immediately, and that's very rare. But a lot of the time what happens with leaders is they come into an 11. They're trying to work on their own game. They need to prove themselves as players as well whilst they're going along with it. They also need to perhaps get alongside a lot of the other elements of the team. Everyone will have the guys that they get on with naturally, but of course as a leader you have to spread that around. You have to be a lot more aware of what makes other players tick, and as he goes along he gets better and better at it. Now in the white hot heat of an international tournament, those things get compressed and he gets put under a lot more pressure. That's when you really find out about the decision making and how much he believes in himself as a leader. But at the moment I think it's going very well for him, and of course it doesn't seem to be affecting the batting, which is sublime as always.
Yeah, the batting is sublime as always, but you know, like Butch pointed out, Arooj, I mean, the true test is when you're under pressure. You're in those knockout games of a World Cup or, you know, a big tournament. Is that something that you sort of learn on the job as well? Do you firmly believe that captaincy is something that you can learn?
Yeah, and you can always get better at it. He's learning on the job, he's getting better, but like Butch said, it matters when the world's crumbling around you, the walls are getting tighter, and the only one there, and because you turn around and look at people and not many are looking back at you because they're feeling the pressure that much more, and that's when you sort of trust your instinct, back yourself, and for you to take that decision in that moment, you got to try it out there now. And that's what he's evolved at. He's evolved at becoming slightly more confident in taking those odd decisions which he wasn't before. And now when they come along, so when it comes on the big stage, he'll be more confident taking them, and they probably will end up paying him well.
Yeah, I think Butch mentioned the other day about how his own personal performance has improved since he's become captain. And this tells you a story. Look at that average. It's 74. You're talking about, as a captain, he is ahead of Virat Kohli, and this tells you a story.
I'll tell you something else about captaincy, is that if you can give the rest of your team, if you give them agency in the decisions that you're making and you drag them along with you, then suddenly, as a captain, you become a lot better. What you cannot do is take on every single piece of responsibility yourself. You have to allow the other players to have their say and also be driving the team culture along. It's not just about you.
It is about teamwork as well. Thank you so much for your thoughts, Butch and Arooj. As you heard it, that Babar has evolved as a captain. It's something which is work in progress. We're going to take a short break. When we do come back, we'll be ready for all the live action. New Zealand has won the toss and they are bowling first.